Hey guys, we're going to wait a couple more minutes here, just see as many people as we can hop on, and then we'll get going within at least the next 5 minutes.
Hey guys, thank you all for joining the Zoom. Obviously, this is the strength and conditioning staff at Drexel University. A lot of you have never interacted with us and don't know who we are. So I'm Bridget Romer. I'm one of the assistants here at Drexel. And next to me on the Zoom is Anthony McCluskey. He's the other assistant. The point of the Zoom is to just give you guys a quick rundown of what the expectations are for the summer in order to build a foundation through the summer to get you in here fit, strong, and ready to compete. We will keep the chat open. So if you have any questions, you can hop on the chat. We will stop a couple of times during the presentation itself to give you guys an opportunity to speak if you have any questions. There's a ton of people on here, which is awesome. We love to see it. So thank you all for taking the time out tonight. I know it's a little bit late and hop on and having this conversation with us. Ant, do you want to add anything?
No, just to reiterate, guys, yeah, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to hop on, 6:30 at a Thursday night. I know there's plenty of other things that you guys could be doing, but we appreciate you hopping on just to learn a little bit of what the summer is going to look like, and kind of what Team Builder also is all about.
All right, so that being said, we're going to get right into it. Let me share my screen here. All right, so obviously we already introduced ourselves. We are the Drexel Strength and Conditioning staff. We're missing one, Michael Rankin, who's the director, but you guys will get to know him as you start your time here at Drexel. This summer, we have 3 training goals. You could kind of break them down to 3, if you want to.
And again, guys, real quick, this is going to be short. It's not going to take a lot of time. We're going to try to be as informative as we can with this. And then if you guys have any questions, again, please just type them away or ask. We're more than happy to answer them. So yes, our training goals, our 3 big ones, our 3 big takeaways here. Injury reduction, right? We're going to try to reduce as much injury as possible. The best ability is your availability. right? So your availability to practice and to play is at the top of the list. So as much as we can do that and keep you guys available, that's what we're looking to do, right? Your athletic performance, obviously looking to enhance that as much as we possibly can. And that can be in different aspects, right? That can be in strength, that can be in power, that can be in flexibility, that can be in endurance, conditioning, whatever it may be. But that is, we're trying to enhance your performance as much as possible. And the last one down there, right? It's like, what is your intention? What's your purpose? You know, why are you doing what you are doing? You know, you're coming into college and training and playing a Division I sport, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? So getting personal with it and getting intentional is the goal for us, because that will optimize your performance, not only athletically, but academically as well.
All right, so diving a little bit deeper into what injury reduction is, right? So we said there's 3 different things we're trying to accomplish. Injury reduction, notice the language there, reduction does not mean prevention, right? You cannot prevent 100% of the injuries, but we're going to do our best to reduce those happening, especially the non-contact ones. So you're going to see a lot of isometric and eccentric training in your program, in your team builder, which is the app that we use, but we'll go over that in a little bit. Isometric literally means no change. So a lot of holds and things like that. If you want to think of a plank, that's a good example of an isometric exercise. And eccentric is just controlling the tempo, right? So if you're doing a squat, going down on, let's say, a 5 count or a 3 count or whatever is programmed in. The reason why we put that in, the reason why it reduces injuries is because there's a lot of research supporting the effect that it has on tendons, right? So all the way down from the bottom of your feet, all the way up to your shoulders, right? We know patellar tendonitis is a big one. The top of your hamstrings are another big one. Achilles tears are a horrible injury, right? And so if we can do something to offset that, that would be great. Other shoulder related for those swimmers and crew athletes and shoulder athletes, that's another thing. So we incorporate a lot of like tempo work in order to offset those, just because that's the most effective form of training. You're going to see 2 days of impact conditioning. So that's running as far as you know, and 2 days of non-impact conditioning, right? So that could be on the bike, that could be on an erg, that could be on the Versa climbers, which we have here in the gym. The reason why is because you guys have so much impact that you go through for practice. If we can get a cardiovascular response without also adding more impact onto the joints, we definitely want to do that to reduce the occurrence of injury. All of this doesn't happen at all unless you're completely transparent and honest with us. So as you go through the summer, something doesn't feel right, just shoot us an email, right? Maybe take a video of it, send it to us, and just be like, hey, does this look right to you? Because it hurts my knee when I do it. So having that honest communication, if something really doesn't feel right, is super important. This isn't going to work, especially remotely, as some of us, are working remotely, and all of you are incoming, unless you guys communicate with us and over communicate, honestly. Progressive resistance, that's just a fancy way of saying go up in weight or in reps every time you do something, right? So if, say, you're squatting week 1, 100 pounds for a front squat, right? If you do that for the next 4 or 5 weeks and you do it for the same amount of reps and you don't change a single thing, the chances that you continue to get stronger and adapt and build that injury resilience goes down, right? So if you're not improving, you're getting worse. So making sure that, like, even if you're adding a couple of pounds, 2.5 on each side every time you do it, you can ensure that the tissues themselves will remodel in accordance to that. And then adaptation of programming based on practices, right? So a lot of you, again, we don't know what clubs you play on. We don't know what you really do in the summer. So you might have a super high workload right now. And we don't know that, right? We just put up a workout based off of what we feel is the correct thing to do for you to prepare for the seasons. If it's unreasonable, right, shoot us an email, right? It goes back to that communication. So if you're like, I'm playing for a club team 3 days a week, and I'm also doing conditioning for my strength and conditioning coach 3 days a week, and now I have this 4-day-a-week program, that's a lot of volume and intensity, right? All of which can be modified, at least from our end. So we're going to do what we can to reflect the intensity that you go through outside of this room, but we won't know that that's needed unless you tell us. And then safety, right? Anytime that you do anything in the weight room, it should not be dangerous, right? So that goes back to even something so simple as having a spotter when you bench or you squat, putting your safeties on the bars, not lifting more weight than you can handle, right? Just being really intelligent with your training and kind of being aware of the different things that are going on. The gym could be a super high place and you kind of forget to do that sometimes. But again, putting your weights back, making sure that you're progressively overloading, not going from squatting 100 pounds the one week to squatting 300 pounds the next week, right? And crushing yourself into the bar. Those are just simple safety things that sometimes get left to the wayside, but super important to think about as you go through this.
So diving into your athletic performance here, guys. And again, this is going to overlap in some cases, right? But improving our rate of force development, right? So as Bridget was laying out, our tempo work. So a lot of things initially are going to be in a tempo, right? So you're going to be time under tension a little bit longer than maybe you have done in the past. Linear programming model and progressive overload, right? So again, touching on both of those, we're trying to get 1% better every time. So we think of it as getting 1 pound or one more rep better each and every single day, and continuing to climb that ladder. If you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, your body actually has a detraining effect to it. And then your performance will literally actually go down. So you have to be able to progress things as you go. Our conditioning program, work to rest ratios, there are a ton of options that we give. Again, because we're here to accommodate you as much as we possibly can. So a lot of the time we'll work in a 1 to 3 work to rest ratio. And then that'll progress into a 1 to 2. And we'll dive into it a little bit more, but like a 15-second, 45, working for 15 seconds, resting for 45 seconds, and doing that for a number of minutes. And then that'll progress as the training progresses. And as it says there, there's no more than a 20% increase in the volume or an intensity each week, right? So we're progressing it, yes, but we're also doing it in a safely manner. And then recovery. Recovery is huge. Your sleep and your nutrition, regardless of what you're doing in the weight room, if you're not putting focus into your sleep and into your nutrition, into your recovery, it is almost pointless of what you're doing in your training, in your workouts, right? You have to be able to give your body enough rest, enough recovery in between sessions, so you're preparing it for what it needs to go through the next day. And again, you can have the best training in the world, but if there's not enough recovery that can go with it, you'll tend to struggle. The body has to break down at some point, right? So if you're going at 100 miles an hour at all times, you have to be able to pump the brakes at some point, and you can do that with enhancing your nutrition and enhancing your sleep.
And to touch a little bit upon that, if you don't really have, a baseline of nutrition, we have a nutritionist here on staff that you can reach out to, Andrea Irvine. She's on the staff directory, so feel free to reach out to her. If you have any more basic questions, feel free to reach out to us too. We have, some knowledge of that stuff. So we are here as a resource for you if you have any questions related to that. We will put our emails and things at the very end of this also. So going back to our program, right? So this little slide right here, the very second bullet says linear programming model. Now, I don't know how many of you are strength and conditioning experts and have any idea of what that means, but there's a couple of different ways that strength coaches like to program their programs. There's linear, there's undulating, but we like to follow linear one. And all that really means is that you vary sets and reps in a pretty linear manner, right? As you go through the weeks. And so this is a super basic overview of what your next 10 weeks of programming are going to look like. So weeks 1 to 3, you're going to have 3 sets of 8 of the main exercises, right? Weeks 4 to 7, you're going to have 4 sets of 5, right? So if the reps drop from 8 to 5, that means that the weight has to increase to reflect that, right? In order for your body to adapt. Does that make sense? Cool. Your last 2 weeks are going to be your last 3 weeks are going to be heavier, right? So you're going to do 5 sets, right? But now you're only working 2 to 4 reps or 3 reps in the middle of that, right? So the weight is going to be the heaviest that it's going to be, but your body can now handle it because you've gone through the first 7 weeks of programming in order for you to be able to handle it. That's why we're saying, start off maybe a little bit lower because the reps are higher anyway, relatively speaking, and then progress up to something that's heavier, right? So we're building the neuromuscular system to be able to hold that up. We're building the tendons and ligaments to be able to hold that heavier weight up, and the musculature as well. So that's kind of the program that we follow. You can expect to see that pretty much your entire 4 years here, with a couple of variations here and there. We like to change things around every year, depending on what we're seeing is working with our athletes. But generally speaking, this is the total overview that you would see most commonly. And then going off of the conditioning standpoint, right? So the first 3 weeks, you're going to be 15 to 45. And you're going to do that for 6 to 14 minutes, depending on whether you're in season or you're out of season, or if you're just starting out or you've been here for a while, right? So we'll individualize it based off that. Now, it sounds like a lot, right? 15 seconds on doesn't sound like a lot of work for some of you. 45 seconds off sounds like a lot of recovery, okay? So I get that, but that means that the 15 seconds that you go, maybe not right in the beginning, maybe the first, couple of weeks go at about 80%, so you get used to the workload. But after that, you're gonna have to push the pace a little bit, right? You should push the pace enough, especially with non-impact conditioning on biking or Versa climbing, enough to where you need 45 seconds to recovery. And what you're doing in that is that you're challenging an energy system that is focused on speed, right? So the intention, going back to the intention piece, the intention is to be powerful and to be fast. And that's why the rest is a little bit higher, so that you can do that while you're working. 30-90 is the next phase, right? So same time frame, we'll dump the volume a little bit, but now the work is higher. So the work is now doubled from 15 to 30. Your rest should reflect that, okay? And then the last 3 weeks, pretty self-explanatory, is 45 on, 115 off. So now not only does the workload go up, but now the rest goes down for the same amount of time. And yeah, that last phase is pretty difficult. But again, you've built a foundation for the last 7 weeks to be able to handle that difficulty. And the reason why also everything that you see here is in time and not yards. I'm sure a lot of you are used to running 150s or, 300-yard shuttles and things like that. Is because everyone's coming in a little bit differently, right? So some of you have been absolutely training for the last couple of weeks and running all the time. And so the amount of distance that you can cover is probably higher than some of us who maybe took a couple of weeks off after school was over, went to the beach, right? But that's why we account for that. We want to meet you guys where you're at when you get here and when you start doing this program, right? We don't want to crush you in the beginning so that way you're sore and can't walk for 3 days and then miss training. We want to kind of meet everyone where they're at and then build from there.
Other things we'll do within our training here, guys. So we will do Olympic lifts. So those are our baseline. So we'll hang clean and we'll hang snatch, and we'll also do many variations of them, right? So not only, right, if you're not comfortable doing a certain lift or can't do a certain exercise, we can do kettlebell swings, or we can do one-arm dumbbell snatches. There are a lot of adjustments that we can make for you. But our goal is for you to be able to do some of the Olympic lifts. Also a lot of variability, right? So again, going back to not doing the same thing over and over and over again. And as you saw on the last slide, we tend to change things every 3 weeks, right? So as soon as your body begins to adapt to something, we change it, we kind of shock it, and then so it has to adapt to something else, right? That is where you get your progression. That's where you start to enhance your performance there. We are big with training movements, not muscles, right? So a lot of the stuff you will see within our program, and it'll reflect in what you see within the facility when you get here. There are not a lot of machines. So a lot of the things that you do are very functional. So we're using barbells, we're using dumbbells. You are on your feet a lot. And it's going to require a lot of core strength. But again, we are training the movement as much as we possibly can. Rarely will we just put you in a machine and have you push or pull. because we don't have them. So we are going to work on the movement and your movement patterns and trying to enhance that and trying to get you to improve your movement and try to move efficiently as possible over your years. There'll be some French contrast in there too, which all that means is that you're going to do a strength exercise with a power exercise. For example, right, if we're front squatting, say 4 sets of 5, as soon as you are done doing a set of your front squats, you're going to go into some type of squat jump or some type of explosive movement and do that immediately after for 5 reps. Our goal there is trying to develop as much strength and as much speed, as much power as possible. And then also we'll do a lot of unilateral work, which means like one leg or one arm. So we're going to do as much as we possibly can, because a lot of the times with the sports that you guys are playing, you're really only on one foot majority of the time. So yes, we will do a lot of bilateral stuff, 2-leg stuff, whether that's a box jump or a hurdle jump, but we'll also do them one single leg as well, with the same exact exercises. So we're going to get very good on some single leg exercises, develop a lot of strength within the ankle, knee, and hip. And then obviously you doing that, bettering that on a single leg will obviously then enhance you doing those movements on 2 legs.
Okay, now the fun part. I know you guys loved hearing us talk this entire time. So Team Builder, you all should have received an invitation to the Team Builder app. If you did not, please shoot us an email and let us know. Oftentimes it ends up in your junk box, so please make sure that you check that before sending an email. But this is what you would find if you were to open up the Team Builder app starting June 20th, so this upcoming Monday. This is week 1 of the summer training cycle. So we're getting going here on Monday. As you open up this app, right, you're going to see the entire workout in here. You're going to see a couple of other things as well. This top portion, okay, we want you to fill out as much as you feel comfortable, right? Especially these two, your body weight, your body fat percentage. If you'd like to fill that out, please do as much as you're comfortable doing, just to keep track of it if you want to. These top 2 are a little bit more important. So your resting heart rate, you would fill out. So going back to this, when you click this, you'll see all of this pop up, right? So you can enter your heart rate here and kind of keep track of it. You want to enter it resting heart rate also. You don't want to enter your heart rate mid-workout when it's fluctuating because you're doing a couple of different things. The next thing you'll see is a performance preparedness questionnaire. Really, really important you guys get into the habit of filling this out, because we will ask you to do it every single training session when you're here. The performance preparedness questionnaire, has a couple 5 questions, I believe. That has to do with physical stress, sleep, emotional and mental stress, meals, so nutrition, and then water, hydration. So how much did you drink? This is a great tool for you guys to see how other things that you do outside of your workouts impact your performance, right? So I've had athletes come into the weight room, and when I ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how they're feeling, they give me a 4. When I ask why, it's because they hadn't eaten all day, right? Now that's an easy case to forget day to day, but if you log it every day and you can go back and look at it and be like, oh, okay, my front squat today was so much lower. Why was that? Is it because I only slept 4 hours because I was up studying for an exam? Is it because I didn't eat that morning? And so you could build habits around that, which is pretty cool because you keep track of this information over time. Okay, so then your body weight, your body fat percentage, if you have those metrics and you want to keep track of them, you're more than welcome to. And then we're kind of heading into the workout here. So a couple of things to pay attention to, right? Your warm up is in here. That's all good to go. The box jumps and the tempo runs. So we're going to do some plyometrics to start. Okay. And the tempo runs are more of your conditioning. We're going to do the conditioning in the beginning of the workout. Should serve as an extended warm up, kind of before you get into the heavy stuff. Also really important, for you to start logging your weights. Okay. As you start this process here in the summer, go into the Team Builder app, click on the exercise itself, and you're going to see that you could put all of your weights in here for the amount of reps that are prescribed. Okay. Also, if you don't know what one arm dumbbell snatch is, you have the ability to click on the link right here on the little video tab, and it'll show you the workout itself, right? So it'll show you exactly how to do it. We have Coach Rankin there, who you'll meet soon, crushing a dumbbell snatch. You get the picture. Another really cool function of Team Builder, why I'm telling you to log your weights, is this little green button right here. Okay, you see Grace, whose Team Builder we have up right now, has snatched more than a couple of times, and she's logged her weights pretty much since October. And she has track record of how much she's done, right? So if you don't forget what you do, or if you don't remember what you do day to day, this is a great way to keep track of it and make sure that you're progressively increasing those weights, right? Because you guys have a ton of stuff going on, right? I don't expect you to remember every single rep and every single set that you did over your course of 4 years here. What we could do also when we run these numbers, say at the end of your term here with us, at the end of your 4 years, we can run the entire report from your freshman year to your senior year on the major lifts. So your squat, your deadlift, your bench, your snatch, your clean, whatever it is that's important to you. And it'll show that entire progression over 4 years, right? So every day, if we get 1% better over the span of 4 years, we've seen 200+% increases in weights lifted, which is, it's pretty cool to see for you. The last thing that I'll say about Team Builder that's really important is this little red button, the opt-out function. Okay, if you click it, it'll show you all the reasons why, for example, you can't do it. Say it's a lack of equipment. And then it'll give you a drop-down menu of all the similar exercises that you can do in place of that exercise. Okay, so all kind of similar things. And once you save it, now it changes the exercise, but you're still, again, if we're doing muscles, we're not doing muscles, if we're doing movement but not muscles, then as long as the movement is explosive and is powerful, okay, whether you do a snatch or a hang clean really doesn't make that much of a difference, right? And so there's really no excuse kind of not to do it, because you have all of these options. Say you don't have a barbell, cool, just click to opt out and it'll show you a goblet squat. If you have dumbbells, then you can do a goblet squat instead of a front squat. So yeah, I think Team Builder is extremely comprehensive, and you'll be using it when you get here. We're going to require that you log all your stuff, so you might as well get started in doing that now.
I think going back to intention is power, right? Purpose is power. So it is training and understanding why you're training, why you want to train, right? Am I training because I want to get stronger or more powerful? Am I training because I want to improve my flexibility or range of motion? I want to improve my conditioning. Being intentional with yourself and being honest with yourself, and having goals, right? Having goals that you can go after, and set yourself up over a period like the summer, as you come into the fall, so you're prepared and ready to go. So get intentional with yourself, develop some goals for yourself, and create your purpose of why you are doing what you are doing. Anybody really have any questions about that at all? Please, if you don't want to speak, you can put it in the chat. But that is just more or less a basic overview, of what Team Builder is like and what the training is going to look like. A big function with the Team Builder is that almost, I would say 95% of the things that we ask you to do has a video, right? So from the warm up to the stretch at the end, or if it's foam rolling, or any exercises, there is going to be a video there for you. So if you're not really sure what to do, there is always that ability to click that button, check it out, see what it is. But again, there's our contact information too. So if you're still not sure or have some questions, please feel free and reach out to us at any time. And we will get back to you as quickly as we possibly can.
And I'll kind of touch upon the intentionality part, guys. This is really important. What you do today is going to set you up for success for when you come back, either in August, depending on whether you're a fall sport or not, or at the end of September, right? So never sacrifice the good for the perfect. It's like, oh, I only have 20 minutes today between work or class, or I'm taking summer courses, or I'm going to the beach with my family. Rather than being like, I'm not going to do anything, right? I'm just going to do the first part of the workout. That's okay, right? Because again, the choices that you make today are going to set you up to be 1% better for when you show up in the summertime or in the fall or for the fall term. So just kind of make the choices that you can to set you up foundationally for success when you get here. And we are so excited to have you all on campus, returners included. And we can't wait to start working with you. It's going to be a really great year. We're all pumped up about it.
So again, guys, we appreciate you hopping on. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day. And please, any questions you may have, let us know. But otherwise, enjoy your summer. Enjoy the time that you have. And we will see you in the fall when you guys get here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.